Classmates, excuse me. I chose the subject of reparations for slavery as my topic for my project. I know that this is a touchy topic and in my opinion bears further discussion. First and foremost, let me start by saying that I do believe there should be reparations in the form of financial payments for direct descendants of slaves, direct descendants. My belief is rooted in the fact that the wealth was built on the backs of free black labor for over 80 years in the United States. There was no compensation or benefits that a slave received for their servitude. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slave nation in 1963. However, slavery was not completely abolished until 1865 when the 13th Amendment was enacted. Instead, free black slaves were marginalized and placed into a system that, although free, still saw them as less than. Segregation became the way in which America dealt with their African Americans. Excuse me. Separate but equal was the word of the day. Access to quality housing, hospital services, and employment were not afforded the African American. Douglas 2020. This situation exacerbated a growing wealth and income gap for African Americans. Dickerson 2020. There's a precedent for what I'm proposing. Reparations have been paid to victims of forced sterilization and residents of Rosewood, Florida, after the town was destroyed by a mob. There was also the 1946 Indian Claims Commission, which heard claims presented by the Native Americans against the United States for breaches of treaties. Lastly, there was the Civil Liberties Act of 1988 that recognized Japanese Americans for treatment that they received during World War II. In this case, $12,000 to $20,000 was allocated per person for compensation. Douglas 2020. Excuse me. One of the largest arguments against reparations, quote, neither the founders nor the federal government can be said to have obligations to make reparation of slavery because they did not cause wrongs of slavery, close quote. That's Shetler, 2003. Another argument is that slavery was not a nationwide practice. Quote, the people of the United States who maintained slavery were acting neither as a nation nor jointly in maintaining the institution, close quote. Shetler, 2003. I would ascribe to that belief were it not for the fact that the U.S. government was able to find funds when there were wildfires in states such as California or massive hurricanes such as the ones that have ravaged Louisiana. In closing, I know this is a subject that strikes a nerve with all concerned. There's no easy answer to the complexity of this situation and the effects that it has had on generations following slavery. My hope, though, is that as a nation, we can first acknowledge that these actions have been and continue to unfairly impact African Americans, and that we can go about the work of implementing measures to finally correct these atrocities. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this.